How's it going, everybody? CJ here. There's a bad snap. Back on another video. We're doing another first thoughts today. This first thought is on Koma, Cosmos Serpent. So, sorry about the delay in these. I've been a little slow recently in producing content. I just haven't had much time. There's a lot going on in my life right now, and some of it's good, some of it's not so great. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. Eventually I'll be able to get back to my usual schedule of just trying to pump stuff out and not do one a week or anything like that. But for now, we're a little slower. And remember, if you like my content, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check us out on Patreon or the TCG Player affiliate link down below to support the channel. If you can buy any of these cards I talk about in this video, buy them through there. Helps the channel. And yeah, we'll hop into this. So Koma, Cosmos Serpent. This card is very powerful. It's got protection. It creates tokens every upkeep, not just yours, every upkeep. And it can turn stuff off that your opponent's control. Anything problematic, you can stop. And it's just extremely, extremely hard to kill. So the way you're going to build this deck, it's going to be mostly like Simic good stuff. You're going to have like your Beast Withins. You're going to have your Cultivates, Kodama's Reaches, all that jazz. Just tons of ramp, tons of value. And you're going to round it out with some more specific stuff for the deck itself. But, like, just generic Simic good stuff is very synergistic with this commander. And you're going to want a lot of ramp because Koma's pretty expensive. So the first things I want to talk about are a couple Serpents that work really well in this deck. Because you can sacrifice, like, there's like 40-something Serpents in Magic. And none of them are very good. There's a few good ones that are... There's only 2 that I thought about playing in this deck after looking at them all. The rest of them are just like, ugh, very mediocre, lukewarm at best. So, the Serpents I do want to talk about are AC, Tyrant of the Gyre Strait, being able to draw cards when you play lands and playing additional lands. Just some good stuff, seems to fit in the deck. It's a Serpent, so you can sacrifice it if you need to really badly for some reason. Synergy. And there's Serpent of Yawning Depths. That's nice because it makes your commander unblockable. It makes all your Serpents unblockable, actually. So, that seems very, very powerful. You got your token doublers. That's the next thing I want to talk about here. Because you're making a token every upkeep. So why not make 2 every upkeep? So you got Primal Vigor, Doubling Season, Parallel Lives, all that jazz. You can throw in stuff like Second Harvest, or Clone Legion, or Parallel Evolution. All those are more of a one-time token blow, boosty shenanigans. Seems good. And you can also make it so you just have an extra upkeep, so that way you can get tokens twice during your turn with Paradox Haze or Sphinx of the Second Sun. Both those seems like auto includes in the deck. Especially because you're going to have a lot of ramp, so you'll be able to actually play Sphinx of the Second Sun pretty consistently, as opposed to just having it sitting in your hand with like 6 lands in play. Next is probably the coolest part about this deck. You're going to want to throw in, even though Koma's legendary, you're going to want to be able to copy it, because being able to get 2 tokens during every upkeep, or 3 tokens during every upkeep, seems very, very powerful. So, the 2 ways I have to do this. There's a few ways I have to do this. You got both the Sakashimas. Both of them work very well for this. They seem great includes. You got Spark Double, very similar to the Sakashimas. And there's Helm of the Host, which is similar but really nice because it just keeps pumping out more and more and more of them. Great card in the deck. Next, I just want to talk about some cool one-off cards that seem very synergistic in the deck. You got Whelming Wave, which is a bounce board wipe, basically, for everything that's not a Serpent, pretty much. Like, there's very few other cards that are actually going to be saved by it. Like, very, very unlikely your opponents will have anything left in play. Well, you'll have a massive board state of a bunch of Serpents. There's Return of the Wild Speaker. At its worst, it draws you 6 cards with your commander. At its best, it turns your 20 Serpent tokens bigger and you win the game. You got the Great Henge, just all around great card in the deck. Value, ramp, life gain, card draw, buff your creatures. The card is so good. There's no reason not to play it. So good. You got Growing Rights of Itlamok. You're going to be creating a lot of creatures, so you'll be able to proc it and flip it into a Guy's Cradle and make a ton of mana. Seems good. And Elemental Bond, Garrick's Pack Leader, or Kindred Discovery. All of these give you card draw whenever a Serpent enters the battlefield. Whenever one of your tokens enters, because they're big enough to hit Elemental Bond and Garrick's Pack Leader. And with Kindred Discovery, you just name Serpent, and you draw a card every time one enters. Plus, you can attack with them and draw cards that way too. So Kindred Discovery seems very powerful in the deck. Next, I just want to talk about some alternate token creators, because if you're running all this token synergy, you might as well throw in a couple extra tokens. Like token creators. You got Arasta of the Endless Web. This is a card that I really like, but it doesn't see a lot of play, but I think it's pretty cool. And then you got Scoop Mob. That just seems insane in this deck. Like, you make a lot of mana. You put good enough lands in play, you just start playing lands with your Scoop Mob in play, and you just... Or, not Scoop Mob. Scoot Swarm. But Scoop Mob... Scoop Mob doesn't work. Scoot Swarm. Scoot Swarm is the card I'm thinking of. That card is nutty in this deck. So good. So good. Then you got Tendershoot Dryad, which gives you Sapling. They're each upkeep, similar to Koma. And it also becomes a Lord if you have enough permanents in play. Oh, my nose is itchy and I don't know why. Progenitor Mimic. That's the next one. So you can set this anything you need to. You can make extra Tendershoot Giants, which make more tokens. Or you can make it a Spark Double. It's a copy of Koma to make more Komas every turn. It's just very powerful card. Avenger Zendikar. One of the best token creators out there. It's a very good card. It's always played. It's an EDH super staple. Fits it well into the deck. Michaeloth, underrated card. Being your upkeep, you make tokens equal to the counters on Michaeloth, and you sacrifice stuff when it enters to put counters on it. You can have enough tokens that you won't be losing much, and you'll be gaining a lot of tokens afterwards. And Sandworm Convergence. This card I see get played not that often, and when it does, it kind of blows people out. It seems it's a very powerful card, and this deck's going to be ramping enough that it's not out of the realm of possibility to play. So, it seems like a cool include. And lastly, I just want to talk about some more token synergy cards that just work really well if you do go the full-on token route. There's Orin Frostfang, Biden of Thassa, and Reconnaissance Mission. All these let you draw a bunch of cards because you're going to be making a ton of tokens, swinging out, drawing cards when they hit. It seems great in the deck. And then you got your win cons with your big army of tokens. You got Triumph of the Hordes, Beastmaster Ascension, and Craterhoof Behemoth. All these seem great in any token deck. Why wouldn't they not be great here? Hi guys, there's one last thing I forgot to mention. For another category of cards that fit really well into this deck, I almost didn't add them, and I decided it's worth it because these cards are very powerful in the deck. And it's stacks cards, because there's certain stacks cards that work really well with Koma because they're artifacts, and they only actually stacks out your they only actually work when they're untapped. So during like your opponent's end step, you can tap them with Koma, and during your turn, you're not affected by the stacks piece. So you got stuff like Static Orb, Storage Matrix, there is Trinisphere, and there's Winter Orb, and there's one more card I believe. Let me double check the wording. This one is not as much of a stacks piece, but Howling Mine. Howling Mine only lets people draw cards if it's untapped. So during your end step, you can tap down Howling Mine, and your opponents don't get the extra card, but you get the extra card when it untaps during your turn, I believe. Yeah, that's how it would work. So, yeah. Just wanted to add those in. There's some great stacks pieces there, and Howling Mine is just a solid card in the deck. These seem like great includes. I personally love cards like these that really hinder your opponents, and it seems like a lot of you guys do too, because the deck techs that tend to get the most views, or the videos that tend to get the most views, have to do with just being mean to your opponents. Like the Lavinia Azorius Renegade Mass Land Destruction deck tech seems to be the most popular one I've ever posted, and the gameplay involving that deck was the most popular ever posted. So, obviously, some of you guys like to really screw over your opponents, quite like I do. So, yeah. Now, I'm hopefully going to be putting this in before I do the ending stuff in the video, so hopefully it fits right. So, yeah, that's what I have for Koma. So it's just going to be some good stuff, maybe a heavier token theme, sometimes not a heavy token theme, and just more good stuff. It's a powerful deck, though. It's just a powerful commander and scary. And if you want to see gameplay of it, just check out the Game Nights one, because I don't have a video up for this card. None of my friends have built it yet. So if you built it, let me know. And yeah, we will see you guys in this video. But first, before I do that, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down. All right, this is important. This is very important. You got to listen closely. I need you to comment down below the next commander you want me to do a first thoughts for. Preferably something out of Call Time or Commander Legends, because I haven't finished either of these sets, and I'm not going to end up being able to do them all, and I want to be able to do the ones that you guys want to see. So out of any of the ones that I haven't done already, please let me know if there's any that you want to see. Please. I'm begging you, please. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace out, everybody.